Looks like Man United are on the cusp of signing Carlos Casemiro, the Brazilian midfielder from Real Madrid, for an estimated £60 million. This has led to huge speculation that Real Madrid might be about to poach or try to poach Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle, because they're huge admirers. In particular, Carlo Ancelotti's always admired Bruno, but clearly Newcastle United don't want to sell their best players, and he's not for sale according to the club, and rightly so. But could Bruno be tempted by any approach by Real Madrid? Does every player have their price? In this video, we're going to take a closer look at that possibility, plus discuss one or two other things. It's coming up. Welcome back, my name's Eddie from Tyneside Life. I cover football, but also history and culture of Newcastle and the general Tyneside area. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you get a notification every time I release that new video. And today I'm at a cafe which is recommended to me right on the bank of the River Tyne, where kind of Elswick meets Scotswood at the Newcastle Business Park. It's called Leosi's Sicilian Cafe. Now, somebody suggested to me that there's an island off Italy which looks like a football being kicked by a boot. I said, don't be so silly. I know I'm a comic genius. Anyway, we just had a pizza, which was absolutely lovely, a meat feast, and the most delicious homemade chips you've ever had. It's not cheap, mind, but I think you get what you pay for, and I'm not being sponsored by the cafe. They don't even know I'm here filming, but I highly recommend the place. Quality food, quality service.
Hi guys.
In a quality location. So back to the Newcastle news first. The João Pedro situation. Watford have rejected a second bid for Pedro, believed to be in the region of 22 million plus 3 million in add-ons. It looks like, in my opinion, they might want to see a 3 in that figure before they're tempted. But personally, you know, I've got my faith in Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth and the rest of the team. They've clearly picked this individual as a player who they can develop with potential to be versatile, either in a right midfield attacking role or a centre forward. And the same as a player that can, for the future. So I've got my faith in that. My personal opinion is if we have to stretch to round about 30 million package for this player, it might be a little bit too much. So we'll just have to wait and see what the club are going to do. The next great bit of news is the owners have negotiated with Fun 88 to end that contract 3 years early, which was due to expire in 2026, because it's only bringing about £9 million a year to the club, which is nothing in today's terms. And it's a shackle that we're going to gladly throw off, because that's going to hinder us with financial fair play, only having £9 million a year through that sponsorship deal. I mean, Noom, the sleeve sponsor, brings us £7.5 million. So next year, who knows, it's probably going to be some Saudi sponsored company that's going to be in our shirt. For me, as long as it isn't Aramco, we don't really want a petroleum gas company sponsoring Newcastle, on top of all the criticism that we'll get with sports washing and human rights and all that. So I don't want Aramco. Anybody else will do me. So that's good news. 3 years early, we're going to cancel that sponsorship with Fun 88. What I've found though is, having done one or two transfer speculation videos, is I'm getting a different type of person commenting on the videos I've been producing, and I've been quite surprised, probably even shocked at the amount of negativity and misinformation and bewilderment, really, and frustration by fans who seem to be expecting more from the club than what's happening at the moment, just expecting far too much, far too soon. I mean, my views are closely aligned with what the owners have said and what Eddie Howe said, what Dan Ashworth have said, and it's patently obvious to me what's happening with the slow rebuild of our club, getting the right appointments in place, building the foundations, looking at world-class training facilities, etc., etc. So they never were going to splash out in this transfer window. I mean, but bearing in mind we've spent 150 odd million pound in 2 transfer windows now. So we've got some fans who are confused and misinformed about financial fair play. Somebody put an unhelpful post on Facebook, suggests, with how much different clubs had spent. And if you look at Nottingham Forest, they've spent 140 odd, leading to the inference that some fans think that why does financial fair play apply to Newcastle but not to them? That's not how it works. So it's led me to think that, I'll probably do a video about financial fair play, because there's a huge disparity about how much fans think Newcastle can spend, but how much Newcastle United owners and the PIF are going to spend as they build the club. And I think I'll put some clarification on that for some of you, because we're not being treated any differently. We're not being treated unfairly. We may be able to spend 300, 400, possibly even 500 million without breaching financial fair play. That doesn't mean the owners are going to spend that, and they're not going to spend anywhere near that. They put a limit on, I think 200 million for the end of this transfer window, which is probably about right. They may or may not spend that money. But also in terms of Paqueta, fans are utterly convinced that we either will or should have put a bid in for him. He's never been mentioned by the club. For me, this is a ghost pursuit. So what I do is when I put these videos together, I'm autistic. I just speak in a very matter-of-fact way. As I follow the facts and information as I see them, with no other agenda. I don't sensationalise gossip and rumour. I try not, or certainly don't put a video together and create a misleading title, as I've packaged up this information to suggest or infer that the club are about to do something that they're clearly not. And I know some channels do that, and certainly the media out there do that as well, because it's their job to hit your emotional buttons, either your frustration or your anger, to get you to click on a link, to read something or to watch something, and then to have adverts come on, because that's where they're going to make money. That's just not the way I'm wired up. I try and present information in a balanced way, with the facts as I understand them, reading from a range of different sources. That doesn't mean that my opinion's right. All I'm suggesting is it's considered thoroughly, and it's as balanced as it can be. So yeah, it's been quite a surprise really to see some of the negativity being thrown at the club, and Eddie Howe, and criticisms about Dan Ashworth. I'm sorry, but I just don't think you're following the script about what's going on. You're just reading too much and watching too much nonsense, which is a shame, because the club needs our support. Anyway, finally, we'll come to Real Madrid's possible interest in Bruno Guimaraes, who signed for Newcastle in the summer. In January, for about 38 million on a 4.5-year contract. Now he loves the club. He's part of the project that Newcastle are trying to build, and he's turned it quickly into our kingpin and major player for our club going forward. But with Real Madrid on the cusp of selling Carlos Casemiro, the Brazilian midfielder who's aged 30, to Man United for reported £59-60 million, that leaves a huge gap in their midfield. When Eddie Howe was asked about this very thing at the press conference this morning, this is what he said. No, absolutely not. We're trying to build a squad here that we feel can take the club to be successful over the next few years. We want to build that squad and enhance the group, not take away our best players. If there's another Bruno, please let us know, because they don't grow on trees. So there you go. It's quite clearly from Eddie Howe's point of view and the club. We're not about to sell Bruno Guimaraes. He doesn't want to sell Guimaraes. But is it that simple? Is it that straightforward? Guimaraes is 24. He's just approaching his peak. Football careers are short. He has, if Real Madrid did approach him, he's got the possibility of going instantly into the Champions of Europe, to win trophies straight off and have probably a very successful career with Real Madrid coming into the peak of his years. Now that has to be sorely tempting, and Real Madrid are probably only one of 3 or 4 clubs in the world that might turn ahead. So it's going to be interesting to see if that test is resolved, because although Newcastle United are determined and adamant they're not going to sell Guimaraes for any price, what's going to happen if Real Madrid come in with an offer of say 80 million, or possibly even raising out to 6 figures around about the 100 million mark? I know some nonsense has been flying around about 150 million, but that's just some social media talk. But if they come in for something like 100 million, would Newcastle United's resolve buckle? And is Bruno Guimaraes going to be tempted? Because he could, for the next 4 years of his career. It is a possibility that he might spend 3 or 4 of those years not playing Champions League football. I'd hate to think if that didn't happen, but it's possible. So there's going to be a lot to consider for Bruno if an offer comes in. But when I was researching this video, I actually said to my girlfriend, when I explained the situation with Real Madrid and Guimaraes, and her instant response was, Bruno's a Geordie. Why would he want to have trophies, put it on a plate? He's going to want to work for those trophies, and I like that. What a really good point I thought that was. He's part of this massive rebuilding project, this exciting project with Newcastle United. If he's approached and if he turns them down to be part of this project, he's going to be a cult hero forever. When we eventually start doing winning trophies, it's going to be a huge satisfaction to have been a part of that. Join Real Madrid, you're going to win 1 or 2 trophies a year, and it's virtually on a plate. So who knows what's going to happen? I'd like to think the format that he's going to say, no, I'm with Newcastle United, I want to be part of this project, and the club are going to turn down any offer that they get for him. That's what I hope and think's going to happen. But if his head is turned, and if Real Madrid come in with a 6-figure offer, I wouldn't knock the lad if his head was turned and he wanted to go, because if he wants to go, even if Newcastle United don't want to sell him, it's going to be hard satisfying a player whose head isn't in the right place. So that's where things become a little bit complex. So that's my thoughts on the matter. We're just going to have to see how things unfold. Man United need to buy Casemiro first, and Real Madrid need to come in with an offer. But this is a hypothetical situation, it's speculation. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think about this whole Guimaraes situation in the comments below. I'm really interested in hearing balanced views, well thought out views. I love engaging with those. I love learning new things off people and listening to different perspectives. So if you've got a really good point of view, it's well thought out, just leave it below. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe either, and until next time, catch you later.